Hey everyone, today we're going to review for the Florida Civics EOC. The standard that we are going to be looking at is SS.7.C.3.13, which says to compare the constitutions of the United States and Florida. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Virtual History 360. I'm Mr. Wade, and this is Flipping Civics. Today we are reviewing for the EOC, so let's get started. Standard 3.13 is all about the constitutions. Plural? Well, yeah, because every state has their own constitution. So we're going to compare the U.S. Constitution to the Florida Constitution. But before we can talk about Florida, we have to quickly review the U.S. Constitution, which provides the framework, or outline, for how the government will work. Within this framework, we have the three branches of government: the legislative, executive, and judicial. And while the Constitution defines their powers and responsibilities, it also outlines the limits of those powers. This system is called checks and balances, and it ensures that no branch becomes more powerful than the other two. For example, Congress can create a law, but the president can veto. Or, after it is passed, the Supreme Court can say it's unconstitutional. And just so the states don't think they can overstep their bounds, Article 6 says that Article 6 has the supremacy clause, which says that the U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, so no law is above the Constitution. One of the biggest arguments over the ratification of the U.S. Constitution was the Bill of Rights. These are the first 10 amendments, and they guarantee your personal freedoms. Okay, so what do you say? Should we move on? All right. Now, because we have a system of federalism, we have both national and state governments. In Florida, our system is very similar to the national government, but there are some differences. For example, we have a governor instead of the president. And while both are the head of the executive, the governor can do something the president can't do. He can do what is called a line item veto. So instead of vetoing an entire bill, the governor can just eliminate certain parts of the bill. That's not the only difference between the U.S. Constitution and the Florida Constitution, so let's take a look at some more. The Florida Constitution is much longer. While the U.S. Constitution is on one page, Florida's is on 80! With all that extra room, there are more rules laid out. This includes rules that address public education, motor vehicles, elections, and the day-to-day issues that affect residents of Florida. Another difference is how basic rights are protected. Remember, the U.S. Constitution has the Bill of Rights. First 10 amendments, we just talked about that, right? In Florida, we have the Florida Declaration of Rights. It also lists the basic rights guaranteed to all citizens who live in Florida. Both constitutions, because of this, are considered to be living documents, meaning they can be interpreted and changed over time. In a previous video, I talked about the amendment process for the U.S. Constitution. Should be right about there. Now, let's talk about how to do it in Florida. There are actually 5 ways to propose an amendment to the Florida Constitution. Let's go through these. 1, through a convention. You'll need 15% of the active voters to call for a convention, and there you can propose an amendment. Number 2, the ballot initiative process, where you'll need 8% of active voters, and they have to sign a petition for a proposed amendment to be placed on a future election day ballot. Number 3, the Constitution Revision Commission. This is a 37-member committee that meets every 20 years, the last being in 2017, to propose amendments to the state constitution. Number 4, a legislative joint resolution, meaning you'll need 3/5 or 60% of each house of the Florida legislature, and they can pass a joint resolution or decision proposing an amendment to be placed on a future election ballot. And finally, number 5, the Taxation and Budget Reform Commission, which is a 22-member committee that meets every 20 years to propose amendments. They will next meet in 2027. Now, I think that about covers SS.7.C.3.13. What do you think? Leave a comment below if you have any other questions that I can help you with. And while you're there, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on those alerts so you can keep up with these Civics EOC review videos. Between your teachers and these videos, I know you're going to rock that test. Now, if you want to find out more, check out some of our other videos by clicking on the side here. We have other civics videos as well as U.S. history. You're going to love them, so go ahead and check them out for me. For Virtual History 360, I'm Mr. Wade. Thank you.